Hello students, let us start with the next lecture of our synchronous machine lecture series, which is based on EMF equation. So in this particular lecture, we are going to derive the EMF equation of synchronous generator, that is for alternator. Now we know that whenever alternator is driven with the help of prime mover, and if its field winding is excited with DC supply, then EMF get induced inside armature winding. Now, the EMF which is developed by alternator depends upon the various factors. That factors are the field flux, that is flux per pole, number of poles, that is number of poles in alternator, types and design of winding, so that is winding is whether full pitch winding or half pitch winding, and speed of prime mover. So the EMF which is developed by alternator due to field flux is known as the excitation EMF EF. So the EMF which is induced inside armature winding due to the flux per pole, which is the flux which is developed by field winding, is known as the excitation EMF EF. Now, this excitation EMF generally decides the magnitude of terminal voltage which is appeared across alternator terminal, because out of total amount of excitation EMF induced inside armature winding, some amount of excitation EMF will drop in different parameters of alternator. That means the excitation EMF which is induced inside armature has to overcome the effect of armature resistance Ra, armature leakage reactance XAL, and armature reaction effect. So due to these three effects, some amount of EMF get dropped in armature winding, and remaining voltage will be appeared across the terminals of alternator. Therefore, excitation EMF generally decides the magnitude of terminal voltage which is appeared across the alternator terminals. Now, whenever we are interested in deriving the EMF equation of alternator, we have to consider some terminologies. So let phi is the flux per pole in Weber. Capital P is the total number of poles in alternator. F is the frequency of a generated EMF in Hertz. Zp is total number of armature conductors connected in series per phase. So if armature winding consists n number of turns or nph number of turns per phase, then we can calculate the total number of armature conductor per phase as 2 into number of turns per phase, because in one single turn of armature winding there are two armature conductors present. So effectively one turn forms, or one winding turn is formed by two armature conductors. So one turn is equivalent to two armature conductors. So if NPH is the number of turns per phase, then we can calculate the value of ZP as 2 into number of turns per phase. Let small n is the speed of alternator in RPS. So that is actually rotor speed in RPS. Now we know that according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the EMF induced in one conductor is given by EMF induced in one conductor is equal to d phi by dt. Actually, this equation is E is equal to minus n d phi by dt, where n is the total number of conductors or total number of turns in the given winding, and that negative sign is due to Lenz's law, because the induced EMF in winding or conductor generally opposes the cause of its production, that is actually the flux. Therefore, the magnitude is n d phi by dt, and that EMF is always opposes the flux which produced it. So if we consider only the magnitude of induced EMF in one conductor, then by substituting n is equal to 1, we can find out that EMF as d phi by dt. So if we have to derive the EMF equation of alternator, we have to find out this term d phi and dt, where d phi is the flux cut by conductor and dt is the amount of time required to complete one revolution. So the total amount of flux that would be cut by one conductor in one revolution is d phi is equal to phi into number of poles. So that is equal to phi into p. Now to understand the logic or reason behind this particular equation, let us consider a simple example. So here we consider a simple two-pole machine where two poles N and S are there. Rotor consists only one conductor, which is indicated over here with a green circle. So if we move this particular rotor, then definitely conductor will also move along with that rotor. And when that conductor completes one revolution, how much flux that would be cut, we have to find that particular value. So let us, if we move that conductor and if that conductor completes one revolution, then at this moment that cuts phi into one pole. At this particular moment that again cuts phi amount of flux. So the total amount of flux that would be cut is equal to d phi is equal to 2 into flux per pole, because whatever flux which is developed at this pole, that is equal to phi, which is given by flux per pole. So 2 multiplied by flux per pole, that would be the total amount of flux cut by one conductor when that conductor takes one revolution. So in general, if there are four number of poles, then the total amount of flux cut is equal to flux per pole multiplied by number of poles. So that is equal to 4. So in general, we can write that equation as phi multiplied by p, where p is the total number of poles. Now, this is for one conductor. So if there are Zp number of conductors, then the flux that would be cut by Zp conductors is equal to Zp multiplied by phi into P. So d phi is equal to Zp into phi into P. Now we have to determine the amount of time required to complete one revolution. So the time required to complete one revolution can be determined from the value of speed of a rotor, that is value of n. So we consider n as a rotor speed in RPS. That means in 1 second, the rotor completes n number of revolutions. Then to complete one revolution, the rotor required 1 by n time. So that is 1 by n second. So the time required to complete one revolution is equal to dt, that is equal to 1 divided by n. Therefore, the EMF induced in Zp number of conductors would be given by E average is equal to Zp into phi into P, which is d phi divided by time required to complete one revolution. So that time is equal to 1 divided by n. So E average is equal to Zp phi P divided by 1 by n. So we can simply write that equation for E average as Zp into phi into P into n. But frequency is given as, okay, so we know that the synchronous speed or speed is equal to 120 f divided by p when n is in rpm. If that is written in rps, then that is equal to 2f divided by p. So from that relation we can calculate frequency as f is equal to p into n divided by 2, where n is the rotor speed in rps. So from this we can find the value of p into n as 2f. So here p multiplied by n is equal to 2f. So if we substitute this pn is equal to 2f in equation of E average, then the average value of EMF induced in armature is given by 2f into phi into p, where f is the frequency, phi is flux per pole, Zp is the number of armature conductors. Now let us consider NPH is the number of turns per phase. So we calculate this NPH as Zp divided by 2 because two conductors form 1 turn. So if there are 120 turns or 120 conductors in armature winding per phase, then the total number of turns per phase is equal to 120 divided by 2, that is equal to 60. So in general, we calculate this NPH as Zp divided by 2. So from this, we can calculate the number of armature conductors per phase Zp as 2 multiplied by Nph. So let us substitute this Zp is equal to 2 into Nph in equation of E average. Therefore, the average EMF equation is E average is equal to 2F into 5 into 2 Nph. So that is equal to 4 into 5 into F into Nph. So this would be the average value of EMF induced inside armature winding. Now we are generally interested in RMS values because all values which are mentioned are generally RMS value. So we have to convert this average EMF into RMS value. Again, the EMF which is induced inside armature is generally in sinusoidal form. So we have to convert that average value of induced EMF into RMS value. For that purpose, we assume that the induced EMF is a purely sinusoidal. Then the relation between RMS value and average value is equal to ERMS is equal to 1.11 into E average, where this 1.11 is generally form factor for sinusoidal wave or sinusoidal EMF wave. So we generally define that form factor as it is a ratio of RMS value to average value. So ERMS divided by E average is actually form factor, and that comes to be 1.11 for a sinusoidal EMF wave. So if we substitute this E average value over here, then the RMS value of induced EMF in alternator is given by ERMS is equal to 4 into 1.11 into 5 into F into NPH, or that is equal to 4.44 into F into 5 into NPH. So this would be the maximum magnitude of induced EMF in armature winding of alternator. Now, this equation gives the ideal value of EMF generated, which is based on following assumptions. That means this particular value of EMF is the ideal value of EMF induced in alternator, and that is due to the two important assumptions. That first assumption is we assume that the coils are to be full pitch coil. That means whatever armature coils are there, that coils are considered as a full pitch coil, because for full pitch coil, the maximum EMF get induced inside the armature coil. And another assumption is the armature winding is concentrated in slot. But we know that armature coils are neither full pitch nor it is concentrated, because armature winding is generally three-phase distributed AC winding, and the armature coils are generally short pitch coil. That means the armature coils are short pitch, means its coil pitch is less than pole pitch or is less than 180-degree electrical. So the armature winding is neither full pitch nor concentrated. So we have to consider the effect of these two winding design factors while calculating the actual value of generated EMF. So as coil is distributed, definitely that will decrease the magnitude of induced EMF from its ideal value. Again, as coil is short pitch, so the induced EMF magnitude also get reduced from its ideal EMF value. So these two assumptions or these two factors generally decreases the magnitude of induced EMF inside armature from its ideal value, and we have to consider these two effects while calculating the actual value of generated EMF. So the effect of a short pitch coil is generally considered using a factor which is known as a coil span factor or pitch factor, which is denoted by Kc or Kp, whereas the effect of a distributed winding is considered using the distribution factor Kd. So these Kp and Kd, that two factors generally affects on the magnitude of induced EMF inside alternator, and that will reduce the actual value of EMF from its ideal value. So this Kc or Kp factor generally introduced the effect of short pitch nature of coil, whereas the distribution factor Kd generally introduced the effect of distributed nature of armature winding. So in our next lectures, we are going to derive these two factors separately, and we are going to see the effect of these two factors on the ideal value of induced EMF in alternator winding. So let's stop here. Thank you.